Okay, this is your friend of mine, Art Williams, of Wandering Salsero, and I think it's March 5th, someplace around there. Anyway, I know it's a Thursday because I've got a date tomorrow. Anyway, I walked about 10 blocks from Calle 72 and Carretera around 45 or 46, and it wasn't really what most people wouldn't call that dangerous. Some people might, but anyway, I just thought I'd make a comment. One of the things that I see interesting about Barranquilla here, and by the way, I'm at a little street-side cafe. If you can hear the music, that's vallenato music. If you can hear that, and about 20 yards away from me, there's a Subway shop, Subway sandwich. And I'm back on 84 Calle, which, as I've told you before, has a wide variety of stores and stuff on it. But I stopped into a little place underneath a square canopy, maybe about 15 yards square, maybe 10 yards, I don't know, 10 to 15. And some guy cooking some stuff. Well, you can see it over there. See that? And I noticed they were cooking something on the grill, and it looked pretty good, so I asked how much it was, and he said it was about 10,000 Colombian pesos, which is actually a little bit less. It's probably about $4.50. But my point is, walking back here, it reminded me of Amarillo, Texas, back in the old days when, South Polk Street, where I used to live, and what it was like at night, in that you had nice houses, middle-class houses, and quite a variety. And I noticed walking around the streets here in Barranquilla that you see, it's just amazing the variety in the houses. And when you're in the middle-class areas, the vast majority of them are very nice. And another interesting thing I noticed is that sometimes, not always, but sometimes, they won't have a front door, but they'll have a gate. And this especially if you're in the bigger houses, where there'll be a gate there, and you look in, and it seems to be common that these houses will have sort of a hall down the middle of the home. And many times there'll be 2 stories too, but it looks almost like like a place you might see on a college campus, where there'll be a covered area that you walk down, and there'll be classrooms on each side. But you see the same thing in the homes here. And like over in the place where I live, we've got 2 families. They're both related. It's a lady and then her husband, and then it's the lady's sister, I think, and her husband live in the other side of the upper story. But on the bottom story, there'll be anywhere from 4, 5, 6, sometimes even more little studios or small apartments. Probably, basically, you call it a studio, and they rent those out. So I presume that they're making money. But you see that a lot, and it's very common to see nice porches in front of these homes, or little mini front yards. They won't always be grass, but they'll be it'll be tile, this red brick tile kind of thing. And also something I noticed is that when you walk in areas like this, you'll find little mini, I think in the States we call them boutique hotels, but you'll see these little boutique hotels in the strangest places, and you'll look in, and there'll be a guy there on duty at night, if it's nighttime, and it's quiet, but you can tell the places are kind of nice. And of course, you don't know how nice the rooms are, but judging by the quality of the lobby, they're pretty good. And so they have real neighborhoods, I guess, here is what I'm saying. And it's really sort of gratifying or enjoyable in the sense that you can actually walk around and actually see these kinds of places. I'm headed home, and here it is. Within half a mile of where I live, you've got 7 or 8 or 9, places to dance, and 7 or 8 or 9 cafes. I'm looking at another nice hotel called the Windsor. Almost had a date with a really cute girl that works over there, but for some reason she got scared, started to avoid me, so That was just part of one of my cross-cultural experiences here. But at any rate, you guys coming down here in April, I think you're gonna have an experience. Now, you probably, if you only stay the 5 or 6 days, you probably won't have a chance to even begin to realize what you don't realize. But the longer you stay here, you find that there is some depth there. Now, I will tell you, the food in Barranquilla sucks. I mean, they eat nothing but meat and starch is all they eat. It's not like you don't find near the variety that you would see even in Houston, where you find a tremendous variety of international restaurants. And like, I'm thinking of the place that I always thought was a Thai food place, but actually they're Laotians that run it over on what's that north of I-10 at Gessner. You go north on Gessner and take the first right. What's that street? Underwood? I can't remember the name of that street, but a real nice Thai restaurant. Really good prices in there too. But it is what it is. And you guys coming down for Sam's trip in April, I think you're gonna have a good time. And especially when you get here and you start meeting them, all those girls in the Thursday and the Friday night reception, and you'll all have your interpreter translator, and you will be able to make very good time as far as your introductions, I can tell you that. And another thing I would mention too is that I know I have a friend who came down here and said he met a lot of women, but I don't think that he did, because it's not that easy to do if you don't speak Spanish and if you don't have somebody that can sort of break the ice for you. I'm sorry, it's just not that easy to do. So Sam's going to have a good program for you. And of course, some of the other ladies down here, I know one lady, Lizana, she has an introduction service. And of course, that's another approach toward meeting women down here. But there's nothing wrong with Sam's trips at all. It's a good deal for what you pay, all right? Anyway, this is your friend of mine, Art Williams, saying be sure and say hi when you're here. I'll probably be over there at Sam's event too. All right, talk to you later. Bye.